what is needed to be successful in the insurance industry? You got to have a vision. You got to have a mindset of an entrepreneurial mindset. This allows you to look into the future. Don't worry about the how and what you're going to do and how do I learn the products and the presentations and what type of leads to buy. These are like processes, right? And these processes can be learned if you have a mind state in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, guys, to the Agent Q&A. Today is March 13th, the day after what do you call it? Daylight savings time again. So hopefully this is the second to last. The last one's going to be November, right? Man, it always throws people off. Do you think it throws clients off?
Throws clients off in terms
like
of
if you got your appointment, early appointments, or if we had an early call.
Maybe because they might be people oversleep. I don't know. I don't oversleep, but
I actually, if we're dealing with a lot of senior clients,
savings. I think so, right? Because you get more time. More darkness. Is that what it is in the morning?
More darkness, less sun. And then, of course, we just lost an hour.
We supposedly gain an hour of daylight.
We gain an hour of daylight. Yeah. So instead of like here in California, it's going to be at 5, right? It's going to be a little bit later at like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. Doesn't matter. If you're door knocking, it makes a difference.
True.
Yeah. But for anyone else, telesale, no, not really. So we're going to get started with the first question. Some of this is going to be a repeater from last week. We had a technical issue where the audio wasn't very well done. So we're just going to re-ask it so that it's going to be videotaped a lot better. So first question, Joe, from someone coming into the insurance industry, how fast can I start making money?
For someone coming into the insurance industry, so this is somebody that is already licensed?
No, someone coming into the life insurance industry. How fast can they start making money? So they don't have any license or anything yet.
The fastest that they can start making money, well, number one, I think certain things differ per agents depending on the state that they're in, just because some states have different requirements. But in general, I would want to say anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks, because you do have to, if you are new to the industry, you do have to go through a course or some state requirements, depending on what state you are in. Mm-hmm. You also have to take your state exam and apply for your license. So usually that process, even if you don't have state requirements for the course, takes about 2 to 3 weeks to complete, I would say.
Right. So 3 main things is you got to take a course, you got to take the exam, and then you have to apply for the exam.
Correct.
Once you do so, you just wait on background check to get your license, which should be within a week or so. So the holdup would be how fast can you take the exam course, finish that course, depending on the state. California has 52 hours. How fast you can crack that down. We've had some agents do it within 3 to 4 days, finish it, take the test, finish the rest, and get their certificate, get issued a license within 3 to 4 days after that. So fastest really is like 10 days.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Right. But time-wise, if you're coming in, you're transitioning from a current position, give yourself about 2 to 3 weeks, right?
Yeah. And then in terms of getting them started to work, as soon as they get licensed, they are able to get contracted and partnered up with the carriers that we have within 24 to 48 hours for some of them.
Right. So that's the follow-up question. From someone coming into FFL with an insurance license, meaning you've already licensed, how fast can they start making money?
They can start ASAP. I want to say as soon as they complete their invitation into HCMS, which is our onboarding system, they can basically get on the field and start helping families within 24 to 48 hours of starting their onboarding.
Right. So we have one of the fastest contracting systems, which is our HCMS. You get an invite from your upline, a welcome email. You finish that welcome email, you'll get contracted with NLC, which is next level contracting. You can get 3 carriers loaded on there, and within about a day, one of the 3 carriers will ask you to give you a writing number. So if it's, for example, today on Monday, you just got invited today, you can do your contracting. Within the next day, you'll have an agent number, right?
Yes.
And then so you can start seeing clients, selling clients. Tuesday, Wednesday, come in. Thursday, you might be paid by then, right? As long as the policies are issued and settled. Same thing with another carrier called Prosperity. You can do it and get an agent number and start selling immediately in the afternoon. They take a while to finish all your background, but they do just-in-time contracting. They give you an agent number and ability to write, and then they finish and do the background afterwards. So do not let that hold you back. If you are a licensed agent, you can come in with FFL, buy leads, start selling immediately, and get paid within the same week.
Yeah, you really can. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say they can definitely start buying leads. So in terms of like a platform for any agents that are just kind of thinking of moving or trying to find a new home or a new agency, that is one of the questions that I get a lot is where do we get our leads from if we have a platform for leads? So it's good you touch base on that because we do have a CRM that is completely free to all of our agents. That is that does have leads nationwide from all of our 50 states. And then you are also able to create your own campaigns on there. So it makes it a lot easier for new agents when they are coming in that we already have a platform where you guys can purchase your leads.
Yeah. Speaking of the platform, coming into FFL, there's always these agents that came from, practice companies that they say, and then there's a lot of fees and a lot of costs and, a lot of questions that they do ask, just like, what's the catch, right? Yeah. So when you're saying CRM or back office, what are these fees that they're asking about, and what does FFL have, and what do they have to pay?
Yeah. So in terms of fees, FFL doesn't have any fees when it comes down to our back office or getting access to the back office or the lead platforms. Other IMOs out there do have certain fees. So for sure, I get on phone calls recruiting nationwide. And it's really interesting to me that there are different fees. There's initiation fees.
Yes.
There's fees for access to a CRM, basically. There's fees for training. There's also there's probably not fees for training, but there is where they will make you train at no cost, right? So you're basically setting appointments up, maybe working a full schedule, sitting there, and they tell you that you're practicing on scheduling appointments, but you're not really scheduling appointments for yourself. You're scheduling for your managers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things out there that that do happen, I want to say. However, all of that stuff just kind of gets cleared out here at FFL because we have no charges, or you shouldn't be incurring any charges for the CRM or for the lead platform either.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like, okay, let's go train you. You're not licensed yet, but let's go write down your friends and family members. Let's go talk to them and sell them insurance. Hey, but by the way, you're not licensed yet, so this is going to count as your training. So what happens to all those commissions for that family members that you wrote up under on my family side, on my warm market? That was your training cost.
Literally, that was your training cost, and you eliminated your warm market.
Yep.
You just gave them up for free, basically.
Yeah.
And then on top of all that, these individuals don't get any sense of commissions for their warm market at all.
Right.
So that's also concerning, just because I think, in my opinion, it's I, as an agent, I would like to use my warm market as like the ones that I practice with and the ones that I can actually assist to the best of my ability to help them and their families. But
right. And not just that, but that loses credibility on your end. And sooner or later, you may or may not know, because you're not completely licensed yet, that the best product was provided to your family members. And guess what? If it wasn't, and they found out, and then they started doing research about other insurance carriers, and they didn't like what they purchased or were sold by your manager, next thing you know, who's to blame? Do they care about your manager? No, they're going to see you at the next family party and say, you sold me some junk.
Yeah.
And you're the one to blame. And next thing you know, you're not invited to family functions anymore.
Yeah.
So another questions from agents that come in. Sometimes you come in from a previous company and they're open. But sometimes you come in from only one company and they're not open, which is if you're in your definition, what is a captive agent and an independent agent, or non-captive?
Yeah. So the way that I identify a captive agency versus independent, or an independent agent versus a captive agent, let's just put it that way. An independent agent basically works for themselves and is able to partner up with as many carriers as they potentially can. And there's basically no strings attached. There's nothing really holding them down from being able to partner up anywhere else, right? So they're independent. Mm-hmm. But whereas a captive agent is somebody that is partnered up with, for the majority of the part, it's just one entity or one company. And then this one company has different products that they're able to supply under that one name. So in actuality, you are just simply working for one company and that one company's products, as opposed to being able to work for a variety of them.
Right. So what's the benefit of being captive and non-captive? In our position, it's never really a good sign to be captive because there's something that they're holding against you. Okay. So it's when I say never, I don't really mean never, unless you're in a great position where they're giving you a full support. Usually captivity means a contract with that specific carrier because they don't want you to use any of their benefits or platform and not get paid or not get an override or not use their company for it. Right. So we did used to work for a captive company before. The great thing about them, not so great really, but was that they provided quote unquote leads. So they were provided leads. Well, since you're using our leads, you didn't pay for the leads. We pay for the leads as the insurance company. We don't want you selling those type of leads to someone else because that's a conflict of interest, right? So that is the contract between the agent and the carrier and the insurance company. It's good and bad because if you have a contract, you're limited to a lot of things. If they control your leads, which is the opposite on our end, we don't control your leads. You buy your own leads. You work when you want to work. We give you freedom. You're independent. Okay. Because if they give you leads, now they micromanage you. They tell you, well, for you to get these leads, you got to get on this system. You got to get on this script. You got to get on these calls. And they're almost basically micromanaging you like an employee. And if you don't follow, well, hey, you're independent. But here's the caveat. We're also independent. So we're not going to provide you leads in there. For the agents coming in on board now, they're in the insurance industry now. Question for you, Joe, is what's needed to be successful in the insurance industry? What would you say is your answer to that? What's needed from your perspective?
From my perspective, to be successful in the insurance industry, well, you touched on this the last time and I agreed with you. So I think the vision, right? We said vision. But in general, I would think, I agree with the vision, but I also think that it comes down to your discipline, just like everything else. So if you're not disciplined in your goal and like tackling the goal that you have for being a life agent, I don't know. I just think that that's very necessary. You have to have a vision, or you have to set goals, or you have to be able to have that discipline to be able to see being a life agent through.
To touch on that, what is needed to be successful in the insurance industry? You got to have a vision. You got to have a mindset of an entrepreneurial mindset. And this allows you to look into the future. Don't worry about the how and what you're going to do and how do I learn the products and the presentations and what type of leads to buy. These are like processes, right? And these processes can be learned if you have a mind state in the future. Okay, so this is what I got to do. Then if you have a vision, your discipline will kick in to figure out these processes, right? But if you don't have any vision, you don't know what to do. You're only focused on money and you're focused on getting money. You're not going to be focused on the process of making money, how to make money, how to call, how to have a right conversation with clients, how to deal with the right clients, right? So first and foremost, you got to set yourself up. Okay, where do I see myself in this insurance industry in the next year? Where do I see myself in 3 years, 5 years? How do I evolve this business? How do I turn from a boss to a business organization to where I can eventually sell it? Okay, so now you're thinking entrepreneurial. You're not just thinking about a W-2 mindset of what do I do? What time do I wake up? Right? Yeah. Who do I call? How many dials? These things will happen. You know, as a boss, you will dictate your schedule, your time, because you're independent. But to have a bigger vision of like, where do I see myself in this business and how can I take control and ownership of this? That's the number one key. That's how you turn successful, because you're not thinking about the next dime in the next minute. Another question following up on that is, what do you say to agents? Not why, but what do you say to agents that are scared to move? Scared to move meaning they're scared to get started, scared to take a risk. What would you say to an agent that's a little bit of gun shy or hesitant?
Well, it depends on the agent for sure. But number one, I would just remind them like why they actually started to be in the life insurance industry to begin with, you know, and then go from there. But ultimately, I think Yeah, I mean, I just think that everyone's kind of different, but one tell me.
What's that?
I got like so blank.
You went from one tangent to like, wait, no, that's not going to be the answer.
Yeah.
We get this a lot, you know.
We do get it a lot. But for me, I think number one, I always want to remind our new agents like why they started in this, you know. And number one thing is like once somebody actually has started, you know, from the beginning, whether they've been licensed or they're unlicensed, but once they've started, it's because they have believed in the system and they have believed in what we're offering them. So that's what got them first, you know, and that they believed in that. And so now they've created these little doubts into like why they now don't believe in what we have, you know. Yeah. But ultimately, it comes down to bringing them back to like, why did you come into this? And now all of these little hesitations are popping up, but in actuality, there's no real, it sucks to say, but there's just not a real enough excuse to like, let that stop you, because all of nothing has changed within our agency. I want to say everything is basically still available for you guys. We still have all of the different options for you guys to get plugged into, all of the different material, all of the different training, all that stuff is still there. It's just that, you know, we sometimes get blocked out based off of our small doubts. Yeah. But everything is there for our agents. So I always just like to remind them why they started this, and then remind them of all of the different trainings that we have available and try to get them plugged back into what we're doing. Yeah. So for me, my answer would be like the biggest thing why people don't want to move, they don't want to start, is they have a bigger fear than a bigger motivation. Your fear is holding you back from starting. Okay. And you got to be really intimate on that. And you touched on the resources that we have. We have everything available for you. Yeah. We have all the trainings. We have all the managers. We have like all the materials, anything that any agent, if there is any agent out there that is struggling, has any doubts, I mean, even as stupid as a question may sound, we have an answer for you. We have the materials for you. We have the videos for you. We have a one-on-one session for you. Yeah. So is it external or internal? This is completely internal. So you have to be really intimate with the internal fears that you have. It's like somebody, I'm going to use my aunt. Okay. One of my aunts, they don't drive the freeways. She drives. Hold on. The other day I drove to WeHo, to West Hollywood. So West Hollywood's probably like 11 miles from LA. Yeah. And we had to take the street all the way back because the traffic was so bad. I was driving. Okay. And I was thinking to myself, like, these people that drive nothing but street have it pretty freaking bad. Yeah. So it's funny. It's like a 10-minute drive she works at Westminster. We live in Lakewood. Drives the streets. You'll get there. But it's an internal fear. Yeah. But if you're in reality, I think there's statistics. It's safer on the freeway than the streets because there's less stoplights. There's stop and go. It's one motion. You follow the flow of traffic and you get out. Yeah. Unless there's the DUI drunk driver or something. But what is it? It's fear. Okay, I'm going too fast. People are moving too fast. I can't turn and drive fast. You're actually moving in a quicker motion with less resistance, right? So it's an internal fear why people don't start. You got to figure that out. What is it that you're afraid of? You're afraid of the risk versus the reward ratio. And we touched that on in the last week's call. You're an entrepreneur. You got to understand you're in the business for yourself. You don't eat if you don't go to work. Closed mouths don't get fed. So it's an internal fear and an internal maybe success, fear of success, or an internal fear of like taking control of your own destiny. We were probably used to being told so many times from your parents growing up to teachers telling you what to do in school, to passing this grade, to going to college, to going to work. This is your decisions. These are your directives in a sense. Clock in here, do this here, get off here. And what were we trained to do? We were trained to, these are my rules. I play outside of the rules. Now I look forward to the weekend. Now I look forward after 5 p.m. Right? So when you don't have a boss to do so, you're thinking every time is a weekend. Every day is a weekend. I've never started because you're always following around the rules of outside of work.
Well, everything could be outside of work when you're when you're independent contractor. So that's going to be the biggest thing for you. You got to figure that out. Okay. We can only do a one-on-one session with you so much, but if you have not done anything yet, you got to really look at it. It's like, what I got to create a bigger motivation and eliminate some fears or lower my anxiety. That would be the number one resolution for you. So to follow up on that, when it comes to a new agent, that's the biggest thing is moving. When it comes to a veteran agent, maybe a veteran agent came into our business, came out, had some good success, took a break, or maybe had some fallouts with like chargebacks and whatnot. What would you say to an agent then that are starting to get back into the business? The agent's question would be, how do I get over the hurdle of starting again in the insurance industry?
For me, it's pretty simple. I just tell them to go back and get a refresher on the Elite Bootcamp. And then I'll just resend them back to their upline and put them back on the live dials if that's where if they're doing live dials or if they're making phone appointments. That's how I just plug them back in. So I'll resend them to the boot camp so they can get a refresher of basically everything that they were exposed to previously before they left, and then they'll just get back on the live dials. Or sometimes they'll if they're not on the live dials, they'll just get back with their managers, come up with the plan, and then go from there. Yeah,
I think. For me, it's just reinforcing that you've done this before. So sometimes you're thinking of the recent events. Okay, maybe you had a chargeback that happened, or you took some time off and you love that freedom. And now we got to get you reinvigorated on, you can make good money here. You just got to get to the flow of things again, right? So going back into the dials, so it doesn't feel like you're like pushing yourself by yourself, right? It's like waking up with the alarm, like snoozing 5 times like today, right? So we got to get you back rolling, right? You got to be engaged with some crew because it's a harder, stronger resistance path by yourself. So we got to reinvigorate you, put you back in with the path of least resistance of like plugging in, having conversations about work, making dials again. And once you get that first sale back, you're back in order, right? You're back in rhythm and it's just process again. So the biggest thing would be, how do I get back into the building? How do I get back into the business? Just start talking to people that's in the business again, right? Yeah. Conversations we'll continue to have and we'll keep rolling with that. So hopefully that helps. James, did you get to fix the audio? I think it was your audio that wasn't connected.
Yeah, his mic is on now.
Yeah, we see the audio. What do you call it? Icon now. Hopefully you can hear us now.
So I got a guy coming back. He was with us for a short time before. He never really got off the ground, and I took him out in the field a couple of times. But he's going to come back.
Nice.
Yeah, and I sent him some information. I sent him to a boot camp. And all the things that you need as an agent, the new agent. He's got to get his license again though. Okay. So I sent him the code. Will the code work okay for him?
Yes.
The new code. So make sure you do have the new code.
Okay.
We updated it this year.
Let me see.
I'll text it over to you, James.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Joan.
So he lost his license. He has to renew.
Yeah, I tried to, but he let it go. So now he's got to redo it.
So but I think for him, go ahead.
I had to redo mine a year ago, January, and I took like 3 weeks studying again. wasn't
you renewed, or you had to renew the license too?
No,
well, renewal is cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's not the money; it's just the time, to pass the test and everything. And I did.
You don't have to do that. You could have asked this how to renew. I have a way to renew within within 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So to renew your license, you just have to take your CE courses again, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to do the 3 weeks to studying. No, there's a website. It's an open book test. It's UIECE.
I'm texting it to him.
Yeah, Joan will text it too. So basically, this website, you create your account, you pick the course that'll have the minimum hours or the needed hours for the course and the ethics, right? You open up the PDF, create your account, wait an hour to take the test. You could take the test. Once you pass the test, you get the whole certificate for the courses and the hours. All you have to do is have the PDF open, control copy, find the questions, pass the test, you're done. So 30 minutes, you have your 24-hour CE.
Okay.
You did the studios route.
Yeah, I took like almost 3 weeks just studying it and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, printing it out and looking at it. And
Oh, you did.
so
You went to go
I'm,
study.
I'm a lot sharper now, though.
Hey, you did. You did the right way. We
Yeah,
have
and
the
then
shortcut.
I got long-term care too. I took that, but I haven't used it yet. So I got to do that. Yeah.
There are companies that we are contracted with, not specifically for FFL, but there are some long-term care companies like Mutual of Omaha sells long-term care. I think you just have to have a separate outside portfolio.
And I think Aetna too. You know, yeah. So I want to use that because you know it's a lot needed product.
Right. You know? There's ways to circumvent that. You want to use the living benefits of our carriers that we do have. Use NLG, F&G, Americo's term products. So the way I would sell it is like, look, it's a life insurance because with long-term care, you may or may never use it. Okay. You could just die off bat and then you paid on to that money and you don't get anything. But if you have the living benefits of the life insurance, especially a permanent life insurance where you can borrow money too, you can tap into the critical illness, chronic illness, or terminal illness. And so, or borrow the cash value that'll pay for the long-term care. And you still have a death benefit. Right. Yeah, I try to force them on the life side because sometimes people just get killed in like 2 weeks. Never needed to.
Then they paid all the long-term care and don't use it. Yeah,
exactly. It's not like a 529B that passes on to any other person, right?
Yeah. Well, life insurance is, I tell people a lot of times, life insurance is the one insurance that you're going to definitely use unless you go term and it expires. But, you know, your car insurance, your house insurance, you may not use it, you know, but everybody's going to die. So,
yeah. Look into some companies too that do a long-term care rider on top of the life. So that way it covers everything.
Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah. I think NLG comes to mind, like you said. So, so any advice what I could get him started again?
So real advice would be to ask real deep questions with this guy. You start asking him, so what's different this time? Okay. Last time, I don't know if you've even sold a policy. Okay. So we're getting back in it. So now you're really asking him, what are we going to do different? Okay.
Yeah. I did
How's your mind state?
Yeah. What happened was his wife was the one that didn't want him to, you know, what's different now is his wife's on board with him.
Okay.
He's financially in better shape. And so he just told me today, he can take it. He can, you know, that's not an impediment anymore. He don't have to go right back to work. He can take the test. He can get his license. He can, you know, work for whatever weeks it takes to get the momentum, you know?
Oh, that's even better. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I'll see though, you know, see if he's dedicated, but you know, I'll give him the what he needs, you know, get going.
Have the support and let him know we have the QnA available for him. We have the group meet, we have the boot camp, we have the training. Everything's available besides the part where the person has to pick up their hands and pick up the phone and dial and start talking to clients.
Right. So thank you. I guess that's the only questions I had, but
you're good.
Yeah.
His licensing, if he's been licensed before, he just needs to pay the extra fees. He has to pay the renewal fee. There might be, if it's within the time frame, a late fee. If it's been a while for long enough.
Yeah, I don't think he can. I think he has to start over.
Right. Sometimes you start over, you have to take the course and you still pay a late fee within a year or so.
Okay. If he didn't, what you mean? What's a late fee? He has to pay a fee for his license, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Is there a late fee besides that?
Sometimes, yeah. They want you to pay the license and a late fee.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Right. So check the state. What state is he in?
Nevada.
Okay. Double check. Yeah. Especially if it's under a year, sometimes they tack it on. If it's over a year to 2 years, then it's just like a brand new thing.
Okay. And I've got a couple other states. So to get him, he'd have to start over too, right? With those states, he'd have to contract and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it depends. If he added it within 2 years, sometimes they last longer. The renewal periods.
Yeah.
Some other states, I think there's no expiration.
Huh.
Yeah. So I've added a few, and then there's like, well, I still have this. I thought it was like 2-3 years. I've never had to renew.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
So that's exciting. Okay, so just make sure, get him plugged in. Let him see success. Let him see that there's a vision into the business, and then have him create his own vision.
Yeah,
wife.
Yeah, I try to have him do it. I gave him some advice today is, what's your goal for this week on getting, I'd recommend you sit down and, get a goal of what you're going to do this week. Otherwise you'll just float around,
Right.
And, I sent him some screenshots of our group me and some of the successes on there. And in my bank account, I sent him a couple because, I had a pretty good month. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I'm on full time now. My daughter's driving herself to school and back. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So ask him too. Like, I'd like to add you to the group me. Okay. It might be, it might be loud, but these are great things for you to see that people are making sales here. And these are full-time people, like continuously having success.
I'll do that. So I'll just send you a text or have him send you a text.
What's that?
No?
The group me? You know how to add up people on group me?
No.
Oh, okay. Joanne, can you send the link?
Yes.
You're sending me a lot. Thanks.
And then I would just expand more on like the opportunity, the ability to make up the bonuses about the company, the opportunity to grow as a manager, to grow your contract commissions, and then think about, building together with you so you guys can have your own agency in the future if he's going to look to get this full time.
Well, I'm going to work real hard to get him his first sale so he gets that first, blood, and then he'll be motivated more,
Right.
Yeah.
So just have him be on Zooms and on the Elite Dials with us. So he'll see how, we're doing it, how you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Off and running.
Okay, sure will. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
That's pretty much it. Any other questions?
No. I got a 12 o'clock appointment coming up too, so I appreciate it.
All righty.
Well, good luck on your appointment.
Get that sale.
Thank you. Take care,
All right,
guys.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.